to find choices and alternatives. You know, I don't want to be cruel, but you know, you live in the outskirts, you work for a couple of years until you land a better job, you get a few promotions, and you move into the city. You know, I mean, I think we have plenty of tax dollars that stay in the city. Our budget is, you know, $10 billion. It's enormous. So I think it's
Okay. Andres.
Well, we partly talked about this earlier, but I think the biggest reason why the city's not affordable is government. There's too many things on the required list. They've taken ownership and sole proprietorship of an incountable number of resources. That's why it's important to start fixing the revenue model, where fees and taxation are collected directly by the service or utility offered. The money is spent on that service or utility, and ownership and responsibility for delivery of these utilities and services are shared with interested commercial, neighborhood, entrepreneurial interests.
Okay, Andres, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'd open up the floor.
Sure.
Gordon?
It's interesting. A moment ago, we had a moment of great consensus that we all love the fact that people from all economic strata can live in Ward 14. That actually takes an effort. It doesn't happen by accident. If we just leave housing to the market, then we will lose that diversity. We have a waiting list for affordable housing in the City of Toronto that's bigger than the population of Kingston. And that's the deliberate consequence of both the federal and provincial governments walking out of the affordable housing game. As I said earlier, every other country in the OECD has a national housing strategy. We need one. It costs money. Be clear about that. I don't shy away from
Where does the
saying
money come from then?
taxes. We need to collect taxes.
Other alternatives?
Well, this is the thing. You see all these people talking about different financing models and so on. No, everyone who runs a budget in their own household or own business knows you need to have an income if you're going to spend. We all know that services cost money. If we want affordable housing, one proposal that's out there is that we get 1 cent of the GST. I think that's reasonable. Some other municipalities in the United States collect a portion of the income tax. Either the province gives us those tools or they have to come back to the funding table. If we want to make it so that anyone can live anywhere in Toronto, we actually need to spend some money.
Well, I don't think anybody can live anywhere in Toronto. I can't afford to live in Rosedale. I can't afford to live in Forest Hill. You can't. So you can't. You can't.
More affordable housing in those communities.
There should be.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I don't know if that's the case. I know that's the answer.
What about Ward 14? What about Ward 14, Mr. Perks? How do you think we're doing? Because you've been there for 8 years, representing my ward.
Yeah.
How do you think we're doing with respect to your goal?
Well, actually, there have been a couple of projects that make me real proud. Edmonds Place, for example. We've done some stuff around a native family housing project that went in. The one thing that worries me, and I hope that everyone in the community comes around together on this, is recently some big international landlords have been buying up the affordable private rental buildings in Ward 14. I've been working with tenants. Kelius, Metcalf, so on. I've been working with tenants to make sure that they're not being pushed out. There's a loophole in Ontario rent control regulation that if the tenant leaves, then it becomes a market rate. We need to get back to real rent control so that the landlords don't have an incentive, the private landlords, to push low-income people out of their buildings so that they can increase their profits. We need to get real rent control.
Andreas, you okay? Got an answer there.
Well, I mean, the reality is, the reason, although it is great and that loophole about rents not increasing, it's not entirely true, because the market is a function of rents, and right now rents are sitting 65% below mortgages. So rents should be considerably cheaper than the values of these properties. Unfortunately, though, due to the confiscatory level of intervention, government is deep in our pockets. There's a lot less disposable.
I think government is a tool for good and building community, and you clearly don't. We just disagree there. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't have a role. I'm just saying that their role needs to be shared with other interested parties, be it their nonprofit organizations or their for-profit institutions which develop housing projects in the form of co-ops or whatever their market research has revealed as things that people would buy.
You know, there we agree. I wish that the federal government hadn't pulled the plug on the mortgage security that they used to give to co-ops. It's why we're not seeing any new ones. Some kind of mortgage backing for co-ops, I think, would be a fantastic innovation in Toronto. We need to get back to that.
How do we get, I'll throw this to you guys, how do we get more money from the federal and provincial governments? How would you tackle that? Charmaine.
I think we need a good leader. We need a mayor who has an ability to work well with the feds and work well with the province, and that's where it starts. And we're lacking leadership on city council.
No, absolutely. I mean, the last mayor was obviously he stopped the gravy train and he did all his, all the things he did there, but he kind of severed ties with the federal and the provincial governments. We need to mend those back, get back on track. There's money out there. Let's be honest. We are taxed a lot in this country, in this province, and in the city. There's money. We've got to find it, and we've got to channel it to the right places.
All right, Gus, what do you think of that?
You know, I'm sorry. I just wanted to. I was a little bit. I'm still thinking about. We have a list of people waiting to get on affordable housing bigger than the population of Kingston.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's pretty shocking. Like, I mean, I'd like to. I think we got to go back to the root and look at this list and look who's on this list, and really get down into, who's applying for social housing and social assistance. I think there's just a lot of waste going on there. So, sorry I didn't answer your question, I know, but.
Okay, we're going to move on now to the hot seat. The hot seat question. This one you get to pull up your yes, no, and abstain signs. Always fun. And when you hold it up, just simply hold it up and away you go. Now, where did my questions go to? There they are. And we have them in there as well. Modern technology and the teleprompter. First hot seat question. Should we cancel the land transfer tax? Why? 10 seconds.
It's in, it's working. We should just keep going with it.
Nobody likes taxes, so if we can find a way to find other money somewhere, let's get rid of the land transfer tax. As far as I know, we're the only city that has it.
Yes.
People need to be able to buy houses, and 5% down is a lot. People are buying houses 5% down, and the land transfer tax impacts their decision on whether they are going to buy or not, and it makes people, the homeowners are, there's less of them because of that.
Okay, Andres.
Well, the money isn't spent properly. It's just falling into general revenues. It's not making improvements into the general neighborhood of where these properties are being purchased. It's confiscatory in nature, and I'm completely against it.
Okay. Gordon.
No. The land transfer tax is worth $350 million a year to the City of Toronto. If we lost it, property taxes would go up 17%. Bam.
Okay. Next question. Should we outsource more city functions like garbage, like we've seen downtown? Okay, Charmaine.
Absolutely. I live in the West End, which is where it was outsourced first. It works. It absolutely works. We saved money, and that's what we need to do. And it's made city workers even more efficient. I think it's a good thing.
Okay. Tim.
Yeah, I completely echo that. In the garbage pickup and the recycling pickup has been fantastic. It's been on time. Been no problems whatsoever. So I don't see this as, I think this is something to be rolled out to the East End and to other neighborhoods. It's been fantastic.
Okay. Gus.
I think we should. I think that contracting out is going to save the city a lot of money in the future.
All right. Andres.
Well, it's not just the sharing of garbage collection services, but many others that I think that the city should consider.
Okay.
So I'm for it.
Gordon.
No. The only way you save money by contracting out a service like garbage, a truck costs what a truck costs, gas costs what gas costs. The only savings is by reducing the wages of the people who are actually doing the work to make the city livable. And, we just talked about whether or not the city is affordable for people. If you're going to provide services by cutting wages, you make a whole lot more people less able to live in the city.
All right. Next question. Subway, subway, subway. Should we go ahead with the Scarborough subway? There's only 3 choices, Charmaine.
I know.
All right, while we're waiting for you, we'll ask Tim.
And we talked about this. I'm saying no because I don't know if it makes sense. But I hate to be the guy that's once the ball's already rolling, I don't want to stop it. I wouldn't get in there and stop it. So don't hear me that. But
all right, Gus.
Well, I'm going to have to say yes because it's already on the agenda. I'm a big subway promoter. Anywhere we can get them is just going to show us we need more of them.
Okay. Andreas.
Well, people are commuting on average 23 kilometers each day from their residence to work. These are statistics from insurers in Canada. I don't think light rail or bus is going to cut it alone,
Okay.
so I'm for subways.
Gord?
Two quick reasons. You move more people for less money if you go to light rail. We just talked about how it's hard to find tax money. Spend every dollar to move people well. Second reason,
All right, I
it's
gotta
actually
get-
the light rail system that's approved and funded, not the
Charmaine?
subway.
We're running out of time. I'm getting in my ear here. Charmaine, yours?
To be honest, I need more information. I am a fan of light rail transit,
Okay.
a huge fan of light rail transit. So
All
I
right.
do need more information.
We're going to move on to our closing statements there. And Charmaine, we'll let you go first.
I want to be your counselor in Ward 14 because I live in the neighborhood and I'm passionate about it. It's not just going to be a job for me. When I leave City Hall every day, Monday to Friday, I go home to Ward 14. And I'm practical. I will get things done. I'm results oriented, and that's what you'll expect from me. And most importantly, I'm not going to be partaking in any of that partisan behavior. It will stop.
Okay. Tim Kirby.
On October 27th, when you go to vote, and remember, go vote. It's important. I want you to think, vote Tim Kirby for Ward 14. I live in the ward. Every day I walk those streets. I go to those restaurants. I buy my groceries. Everything I do is within a few blocks of my house. I love it, and I want to look after it. Vote for me on October 27th.
Okay, Tim, thank you very much. Gus Koudamanos.
I want to thank everyone for watching today, and I'd just like everyone to know that when I get elected as your councillor, I will. Well, one of the things I wanted to do now is walk around and get to meet all 34,000 constituents in the neighborhood. I have not had a chance to do that, so I will make a point to come around and visit each and every one of you. And what I'd like to do when I get into City Hall is do what I do during my family life and my work life, is make people get along and find solutions that make sense. You can see from the cards that we were holding up here today, 4 of us were usually on the same track and 1 was complete opposite. So I don't know if 4 are wrong
Okay.
and 1 is right, but it just doesn't make sense.
Gus, thanks very much. Andreas Maroukas.
So on October 27th, I'll invite the residents of Ward 14 to consider voting for myself, Andreas Maroukas, because I do believe that the city's biggest problem is its lack of choice. That's why we have gridlock, that's why we have underperforming utilities and services, and I feel that by opening partnerships with commercial and neighborhood interests, we can come up with some cost-effective, practical, and functional solutions.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Gord Perks.
The last 8 years have been the most fun I've ever had. The people in Ward 14, Parkdale High Park, are creative, they're smart, and they're engaged. Some of the things we've managed to do, it's fixing a dozen of our 14 parks to the highest standard anywhere in the ward, getting new access to the waterfront, creative planning. These are all things that people in the neighborhood have come up with. I just can't wait to work with them under a new mayor and a creative, progressive council.
Okay, Gord, thank you very much. And I believe that pretty much wraps it up for us. Thank you for joining us on the local campaign. Air times for other wards can be found on rogerstv.com. I'm Roger Peterson. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.